I live in a very rich, shale-rich region of eastern and southeastern Ohio, and hydraulic fracturing has been a process that has had profound economic, positive economic implications to the people that live in Appalachia, Ohio. So I'm very concerned about some of the issues that we're talking about here today. And Chairman Craddock, there's been a lot of discussion about earthquakes here this morning. Is there some confusion that the earthquakes are being caused by hydraulic fracturing when it's really the deep well injection of the waste? Would you take a minute and comment on that?
First and foremost, thank you for the question, and I will say your governor and some of your legislators and regulators have been to the Railroad Commission so we can explain what we're doing. So hopefully we continue to give you good advice as you are putting a vibrant oil and gas community together up there as well. You know, we obviously all take seismicity very seriously, and the information available today is that hydraulic fracturing is not causing earthquakes. That's the information available in Texas today. We are still researching and looking at the available science, and we just had an SMU study come out on Monday night, Tuesday this week, that our seismologist is going through and working with them. We hope they present this study to us in the near future so we can ask our appropriate questions as both regulators. I know the legislature is in session right now in Texas. They want to ask questions as well. So we're still looking at deep water injection wells and whether that is the potential challenge in Texas. So the answer is I don't think anybody absolutely knows. What I do think some of these studies potentially do is rule out potential problems that could be caused by earthquakes.
But let me clarify, just for the record. You're saying there's no evidence yet at this point that would indicate that hydraulic fracturing is causing earthquake.
That's the information we have available. Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
And what I think some of these studies do is rule out issues, but I'm not sure they can ever tell you specifically what is specifically causing it, too.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Dr. Siegel, many advocacy groups have claimed that the methane found in drinking water of various homes was caused by hydraulic fracturing. Now, if methane is naturally occurring, how can you tell if it's naturally occurring or as a result of oil and gas development?
Well, I've always thought it was fairly simple. If you have fugitive gas from a gas well, my understanding, and if it gets out and gets into a domestic water supply, what you'll find is methane Alka-Seltzer being produced, where it was not there before. Now, there are some places in Pennsylvania and in New York where we have naturally methane Alka-Seltzer occasionally coming out of some drinking wells, and where there's no drilling at all. And this is a unique geologic situation. But the state of Pennsylvania doesn't, to my knowledge, identify fugitive gas by analyzing and seeing dissolved concentrations that you can't see get higher. I mean, basically, homeowners say, my well is bubbling gas and it hasn't bubbled before, and there's a gas well nearby. So the very few cases that I know there have been fugitive gas, and most of which have been easily taken care of by re-cementing. It's very apparent. All right, and so that's what concerned me about those previous studies, that they're looking at dissolved methane, the stuff you can't see, and saying that increases in these, which vary enormously over time, naturally, are somehow related to oil and gas, and that's what we found wasn't the case.
Sure. One follow-on question. You know, although it makes for good cinema and anti-fracking advocacy, is natural gas in drinking water a new phenomenon?
Well, not to my knowledge. The very first time I came to Syracuse, 1981, the first call I got from a citizen who heard there was a hydrologist there had to do with natural gas in their water well. It was near Saratoga, New York, where I grew up. And, you know, I asked a few questions, and that particular natural gas came from a wetland setting. The U.S. Geological Survey in New York did a study on natural gas and found every well had some natural gas. At Syracuse, I'm funded by National Science Foundation to look at natural gas in the southern tier of New York, and pretty much every place we've looked for it, or looked, there's been natural gas, and certainly in Pennsylvania the same way.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Siegel.